Hello and welcome to episode 11 of Rough Around the Edges, a podcast brought to you by Roughneck Games. So, all of us have played Hearthstone, correct, Dan? I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Nice.
not in a while for me, and I'm guessing longer for Dan. But Jarv and Dane, I have a lot of questions about the new adventure that came out recently. Yeah, first one, what was it called again?
I have so many questions.
It's called
launch into this.
League of Explorers.
Yes, and premise, please.
There's a League of Explorers.
Excellent. I think we've hit the
It's
bottom
consistent with the Warcraft lore, right?
Right.
With
Yeah,
all
it's like the
Warcraft
dwarves, right?
lore. It's a mixed
Well,
racial
yeah,
group,
you're right.
Yes.
including a Murloc, right?
But the dwarves
Isn't a Murloc in the mix?
Yeah, that like librarian
yeah.
chick. And then
No.
there's
Yeah. Well,
bronze.
yeah.
That's the
There's a
cartog.
dwarf. There's a human. There's an elf, right? Night elf.
Right.
And then there's like a frog Murloc dude who has like a glasses and a cap, right? I'm not sure if you ever play as him.
Murloc
He's
with
just
glasses?
like a card that you can get, and he.
Wow, I must have blown right through that.
Yeah.
Frog? Wow.
You
Okay.
saw
I think it's a Murloc.
you saw
Is what
Murloc
it's
with
supposed
glasses and you just shut your brain off.
Yeah, no. There's no Murlocs. I'm done.
I can't stand
Yeah,
Murlocs.
I also don't
I don't
like
like
Murlocs.
Murloc decks. I don't like.
Baby
I
Murloc
don't
pets.
care.
Who would ever?
Yeah.
Warrior
Yeah.
Murloc decks. I just want
Oh
to
my
pull
God.
my brains
Or
out of my
paladins.
ears.
Paladin
Yeah.
Murlocs.
Wasn't there an exploration,
Murlocs? What hair is
like crafting skill or collecting skill? Or no, maybe
There
that
was
archaeology.
archaeology.
Yeah, that was archaeology.
Yeah.
Well, I think so. Bran Bronzebeard. Is that his name?
Yeah, Bran Bronzebeard.
I don't know if that's his last name, but it sounds right
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
dwarf.
it's
Palm
correct.
raisin
I'm
brain.
pretty sure that's the guy that you meet up. Nope, that's a different guy. I'm thinking of the hunter that you meet up with.
Yeah.
Stranglethorn.
It's the guy in
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
in Oldemon, right?
Yeah,
Right.
that's right.
Oh.
I think you're right about that.
That's why I think it's dwarves because of him.
He is a dwarf.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
there
So
you
in
go.
the previous ones, I mean, you're fighting Kel'Thuzad and so on. But
Yeah, the first two were Naxxramas and then
the Kel'Thuzad.
Blackrock Mountain.
Right. So who do you fight in this one? Like, who are the opponents?
There's a bunch of different bosses that aren't from like. It's not as compact like Naxxramas is obviously the actual raid Naxxramas and all those bosses involved. League of Explorers is kind of all over the place, and a lot of it has to do with Oldemon, but it is just a bunch of different bosses from all over World of Warcraft.
Are all of the wings? I've actually played 2 of the 4 wings, and I can't
Two
answer
of the
this
4?
question. But are all the wings some dungeon in Warcraft? Because
Because
Aldemon's like the second one, right?
Alderman was, I think, the
Or
first
the
one.
first one. Oh.
No, they weren't all
So okay.
dungeons
Gotcha.
or raids. At least from my recollection. Although I've been out of World of Warcraft for a bit, so maybe they are
Right.
new content that I
Yeah.
wasn't.
I'm wondering if they're
aware of.
related to the anything is related to the south of Tanaris,
Ooh.
right? Where it's really
It's good memory.
it
Grant.
has like that old Egyptian
that's right.
ruin area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some weird mini bosses in the that we've been playing through that reminds me of some of that stuff, but I didn't really do anything in
makes
that
sense.
that
Like
I
a new-
recall.
Anubra?
No,
makes
no, it
that's a
was
name.
It was after we.
Yeah,
it was after we stopped.
It was
playing
after. It was
Okay.
it was
that
the one
that
right
opened up.
after.
It was like a gate that
Cataclysm.
was in Tanaris that just never was
Yeah.
open,
Yeah.
and then they opened it up, and it was
I think it was for
Right.
Cataclysm
A whole new
because it becomes.
Is that when that finally opened?
right.
I think
yeah,
so
I
because
think so.
Tanaris was flooded, right? And then that opened.
Wow.
I think.
I remember when I
Thousand
first
Needles
found
is
that.
flooded. Tanaris
Oh,
isn't
1,000
really flooded.
Oh, okay.
I still
it just,
don't know how I
well,
feel
it
about
got a
that.
little flooded, right? Because isn't Gachkatan on a lake now? Gadgetan?
It might be.
I don't.
I just remember when I
don't
first
remember
found
either.
that gate that wasn't open. I just ran around it and looked around the gate for like 5 minutes. I'm like, what the hell is this thing?
What is this gate?
I was so frustrated that I couldn't do anything.
And
with
there
it.
were those monolithic statues on either side.
Right.
Weren't
Aperture
there some
opaque
like high level
sculptures.
kind of
Basilisk.
elites out front?
Oh, might have been.
I
It's
don't
been
remember.
so long.
It has been a while.
Those
I mean,
are
that
just
was vanilla, so
mining, right?
that's a long
I
time
mean,
ago.
my only recollection of that is running by it on my way to the Ungaro crater. Because
Right.
that's right where that was.
Yes.
I remember when they used to have like little blizzard construction barriers. This could be in the beta. I can't remember.
That might be
But
the beta.
in like high level areas, they hadn't even finished. I think they had them at some point when they were in the vanilla version. But yeah, they were just like these barriers you couldn't get past in like near the gate that went to oh god, the place for the second expansion. What the hell was that whole
The second
North
Burning Crusade?
the Burning Crusade?
Okay, the Dark Portal, which is
it was near there.
the Blasted Lands. I want to
Second.
say.
You say.
No.
No.
Blasted Land. Oh, it was. Yeah, it was in the. I
Right.
think it might have been in the Blasted Lands. Yeah.
The Dark Portal's in the Blasted Lands.
Yeah, what's the whole
and that takes you
continent?
to
Yeah, what's that whole world?
the oh shit.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, the whole like where Terracar is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mushroom Lands.
Outlands.
Outlands.
I think it is
that
Outlands.
Outland. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Draenei.
The
Anyhow,
old Warcraft.
The
Road down
floating
memory
a bit.
lane.
But something
Yeah.
going back to Hearthstone, whichever.
Yeah.
you can say it.
You
how
go with
like.
Hearth.
It's a free country.
We know what you mean. free for Canadians to enter.
Hey, this is true. Is it? It's not.
No, you got to get a visa,
Not anymore.
You can visit.
and it costs like thousands of dollars. Process.
It introduced something that a mechanic that I don't believe existed before, where you can discover cards,
Yeah.
Nice.
and it's like if a card said you play this and it says discover a 1 cost card, and you'll have a choice of 3 cards to choose, and so you can kind of deck build mid game.
So this is a change to the base game that it added.
It's
in.
just some cards have it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Have the
like,
mechanic.
if you go back to other adventures like the Grand Tournament, they added the Inspire ability, which triggers whenever you use your heroic ability, and just
Yeah.
different things cards
Nice.
can do.
Yeah, I was going to ask if
Priest
you changed anything
Dream,
about
right?
the base
Ano-
game, or if it was
another-
just kind of an add-on.
Oh, yeah. There's.
Do they only
That's
happen
awesome.
in that environment or that?
No, it's just
Context?
as long as you have a card that uses it,
Oh.
you can play it.
Yep.
And
So-
So you
I
have
mean,
to
you,
do
you have
them
to
to
beat
get the cards?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I assume it's something that they'll start adding in other decks as well,
Yeah.
or card packs or whatnot.
It's great.
Gotcha.
The mechanic to pick a card in the middle of a round is incredible. I think it's
very
incredible.
powerful.
because you can react to any situation.
Yeah,
And you can play it really like if you get the 2-cost beetle and it gives you a 3-cost card.
Right.
If you save that for when you have 5 mana ready to go, that can be a 1/2 vicious.
But
it's a really cool mechanic.
I think
But devil's advocate here, does that throw off the balance at all in any way?
they've always balanced well in that game, in my
I,
opinion.
it is Blizzard. They
it's as
love,
balanced
like,
as it can be. But
Yeah.
it could. I mean, so there's also a Discover a Beast card, right?
right.
And
Yeah.
it's a
They use
Discover
it in
Beast opposed to
different ways.
Discover a card. And I played that once, and I think it's a 4-cost card. Is that what that is? It's that spider, that 3/3 spider.
Right.
I think it's a 4-cost card. And it gave me a 9-cost. It gave me the T-Rex that charges 9/9 T-Rex, and
That thing's
that's
nasty.
ridiculous to get. So that is.
Jeez.
But I mean, I couldn't play it, but
King Crush, I believe, is
King
his
Crush,
name.
yeah, definitely ended up winning me the game.
He's nasty.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So I want to point out that some of these phrases, if you look at it with no knowledge of what you're talking about, are hilarious. Like 2-cost beetle and 9/9 T-Rex.
Yeah,
Yeah,
9/9
that's
T-Rex.
true.
That's true.
5/6
But-
Muggsy Bugs.
jargon.
I would assume most gamers would be.
Oh yeah,
familiar
yeah,
with
yeah.
it.
I
That's
just
consi-
I
that's
took
how
a
you
step
would
back and listened
describe
to you for a second.
magic
Like, wow,
back
Oh,
in
yeah.
the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, any game like that, you take it out of
Right.
context and you're talking gibberish.
Yeah. Well, there are definitely
fun phrases.
there are some cards, Jarv. We were talking about this yesterday a little bit. That are not okay.
Yeah, I guess when I say they balance well, it's hard to do with some of the cards that they
Right.
have and the rarity of those cards.
I think it's balanced. I think you're right in that it's balanced, but it still doesn't help when you're thinking you're doing all right, and then they throw
Yeah,
out
they can
an
turn
X
the
card,
pages
and
on
you're
you.
like, this
Yeah,
is not.
that was kind of what I was
I want
thinking.
at all.
Like
Right.
if they got that thing that you love so much, like the 9/9 T-Rex or whatever, picking the cards.
Oh, I'd
like,
be pissed. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Well, so yesterday I was playing a game where I was my shaman, which is it's an overload focused shaman, and I don't know. That means a lot of things. Not even going to get into that. Anyway, it's very spellcasting and minion balanced. So I was at the point in the game where I had been unscathed for most of the game, and then my minion started going down. He started to control the board because I was hoarding spells. So he started chunking away at my health. He had 4 health left. I had like 16 health left, right? And I had a lightning bolt in my hand that does 3 damage. Hit my totem ability. Spell came out, which means +1 to spell, so 4, so I could kill him. And then I ended my turn at that point. And then he laid down this card. What's the card? The dude that swings in if you have 1 of every card. It heals your hero back to full.
Oh my god!
Oh no!
So I just quit the game.
Yeah.
Because there's no way I can come back from
He's
that.
a dick.
That sucked. I mean, that was such a. He must have had that card for a long time to just let me think I was wearing him down, and then just It was a smart play.
So they're spamming oops.
But I hated it.
I don't know how they can do
squelched
that
them.
though.
I don't.
I could
allow
not
it.
make a deck that is one of. It doesn't have duplicates of anything.
I agree.
Because you're totally. The consistency of your deck at that point is out the window.
Right.
Wow.
I agree.
So-
I think that's a dangerous play.
And just to get just for
Just
that
for that.
one card, just for the situation where you're getting your ass kicked,
Right.
which I imagine happens a lot when you have a shitty deck like that.
Yeah, that's fine.
right.
Yeah.
Well, he.
And
I
but
was
it
wearing
does,
in
him
like,
hindsight, do you think you
even
could
the
have come
worst
back and
decks
just
can screw
continue to
you.
wear him down?
No, definitely not.
Without going down
Nope.
to 0?
No, the deck that I have for Shaman is very much I need to have the upper hand ish or the ability to take it back pretty early, like throughout the early mid game, and then I can just destroy them in like 2 or 3 turns when I get to that point. But at this point, I'd used all my draw cards and like
Yeah.
I had nothing in my deck.
Once you can't generate cards,
yeah,
you're in
it's
trouble.
over. Yeah, I had 1 card I think, and there's no way to get back from that.
I have a question, and it's kind of just a general of the entire game. Do you believe that somehow out there with the game mechanics there is kind of an ultimate deck that you could build to be like the best possible, or is it all situational depending on like what kind of deck you're playing against?
I'm sure if you
because-
had like infinite stat generator, you could probably find one that ekes out
There is
everything.
somebody who has the best deck, and that's the person who wins in ranked play every
Yeah.
month. Right.
But
But there is a situation.
is it the best deck, or is that person changing the deck based on
They're
context?
probably
I think
tweaking it
there's-
as they go.
There's very powerful decks out there that if you don't have all the cards in Hearthstone, you can't have all the counters for. And so, yeah, at the high ends of league play, obviously they're not dealing with casual players, so that's
Yeah.
okay, I feel.
Yeah.
But if you hand the best,
There's so much strategy though, and there's so many
Yeah.
layers of strategy, and I think that a good player can beat someone with a better deck.
Yeah.
If you
Right.
define
That-
something.
I mean,
I
that's
agree.
what I was going to say. If
Which
you-
is good.
To a certain degree.
I mean, we used to. That to me, that's kind of awesome because it's kind of in line with what WoW was for us. Because we would not be the best geared people, but we could rock stuff just because situationally we were great.
Right.
yeah.
the tri-pally, 3-man,
Yeah.
random
The
stuff.
tri-pally, that was a hell of a run there. That was fun.
That was fun.
We crashed through dungeons. 5-man dungeons with 3 people.
Yeah,
That was great.
and not top tier gear. But
Yeah. Well. Also, in
Looking like
response
crap,
to your
miscolored.
question, Dan, if you guys think we're using jargon right now, you should get on some of the hardcore.
oh no, I
forums.
know exactly what you mean.
It
No, yeah,
is crazy what some of these high level
Yeah.
players are saying and talking about, and nitpicking over a single card in a deck that ruins
yeah.
everything. I mean, it's nuts. It's insane.
Well,
I mean-
I think what's good about it, the way that they add adventures and new mechanics and new cards. I mean, if the game just stayed stale for
Right.
too long, it's going to get
Oh,
really,
yeah.
really
You'd
boring.
have
So
to
it's
lose.
obviously makes
Well,
sense.
I think this is brilliant on Blizzard's part. The game, as it evolves, I get more and more respect for it, and I certainly have moments where you get on a bad run and I
Yeah,
quit
5
the game
losses
for
in a row and
Yeah.
headbutt your
yeah,
monitor.
and I quit
No.
for a week. Like I'm just not going to deal with that. But then I always find myself coming back, and it's because they have a wealth of material to pull from in their whole Warcraft world, and it's never going to run out.
Yeah.
I mean, they can do anything. So, and I think our background with Warcraft helps make it appealing. So I don't know, that wealth of material to pull from.
There's a lot of nostalgia. Like I
We're doing
remember
a good
going back
job
and playing it, and I
with
was like,
it.
oh, just the vibe.
Yeah.
It's
Some
that
of it's
Warcraft
great.
vibe, and
Some of it's
and-
really great.
And the adventures are pretty good about kind of just having a funny little dialogue always going.
Yeah.
between
Yeah.
different characters and it's like with the Naxxramas one, hearing Kel'Thuzad talk to you all the time, and he's always joking. It's funny to me.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
Yeah,
watching
Blizzard
that on
has a
your-
good sense of humor.
Yeah,
On your
they do.
screencasts, that
They
was
do a
great.
good job.
Yeah. I
So
agree.
they also have a lot of like every once in a while they have events, right?
They do. Well, they do a different tavern brawl every week. They are currently doing Winter's Veil.
Wintervale.
Yeah, I got a
yeah.
pop-up thing on my phone.
Got an
about
email or some
Yeah.
shit.
that. Push notification.
The only
Even
thing
though
I
thought
noticed
turned
that
those off.
changed is you can hit greeting at the beginning of a round, and they say "Happy Feast of Wintervale."
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Yeah, which
In the
they
voice
throw
of the
in there
character.
sarcastically when they are done
yeah.
with doing bad things to you.
mean horrible.
But yeah, I don't know exactly what Winter Veil is, although I know the next Tavern Brawl, which I'm kind of looking forward to going home and doing, is like it's supposedly plays gifts on each other's side, and then you attack the gifts to open them up and get a card, but you're getting a card from that opponent class's deck unless you can kill your own gift, and then you open it up and you get your own class's card. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. They always do really cool stuff.
That is
with
really
Tavern
When
Brawl.
did they add that in?
I have no idea.
That was recent. It was
Yeah,
at least the fall.
Months ago when I
think.
last played. I don't remember that.
Yeah, I would say a couple months ago.
Really, the Tavern Brawl? Is that recent?
I think it's pretty recent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't there when I played it
It's awesome.
last.
I love it.
Yeah.
they
I mean,
did.
some of them can be frustrating, but it's another thing that it does is it puts, most of the time you don't build your own deck, you get a deck from the game. So it evens the playing field when you're dealing with, like, sometimes when you're in general play mode, as casual players like Dane and I, we don't have access to all the cards.
Right.
So it's just an even playing field when you're running across those more
Which is good.
expert players.
Yeah.
Because
you have at least the cards to deal with.
And you get to see cards you don't have.
Yeah,
and
that's fun,
play
too.
cards you don't have, and that's exciting.
Yeah.
It
Super
keeps you-
powerful ones too,
Yeah,
legendary
it keeps
ones.
you motivated to try to earn them.
Yeah.
So if you don't buy the adventures, is there still a way to get some of those cards, or do you have to buy the adventures? To
not
get those
the
cards?
adventure specific
Right.
ones, and some of them are outrageously powerful.
Well,
Yeah.
there are two ways to buy, right?
Well, yeah, you can buy.
Oh,
some.
that's true.
So you
Yeah.
can buy with money, real money,
right.
real life money,
Real life money.
which is not steep. It's like $20 an
20 bucks
adventure,
for
and
the
it's
entire
a pretty.
adventure.
It's a
Yeah.
pretty. I think it's not terrible.
It's reasonable.
Or you can pay with 700 gold coins, which is in-game currency that you earn by doing quests or running the arena. You get it sometimes. Although
I remember that.
Yeah.
How-
So that's how I haven't spent a dime on this game.
Yeah.
And I've run through 2 wings of the League of Explorers recently just because I've saved up coins that I don't really spend.
How steep in terms of like playtime and stuff is 700?
It's about 2 weeks, I would say.
2 weeks, like how much?
2 weeks of questing every day.
Oh, okay.
But if you're doing that anyways for fun, then
Right.
why not?
And questing
It's
every day is
well,
3 games, maybe, sometimes 5.
Right.
Winning them, but it's not so
Yeah.
hard
So you
anymore.
get 10 coins every time you win 3 matches in any mode, and then you get for the quest it's anywhere from 40 to 60 gold, I
Okay.
think. So
Yeah.
it adds up.
So it's completely reasonable.
It is.
As opposed to- yeah,
It's
okay.
very reasonable. Yeah, that's good. So going back to the game-breaking cards, there is one that people are bitching about right now, and I can understand why. That unlocked with the latest adventure, and it's that cartographer chick, or maybe she's a librarian. I don't know.
Yeah, the
what she
Night
is.
Elf girl.
Right.
Yeah.
So you play her, and it puts a map into your deck, and it's the map for the golden monkey. And so if you end up drawing the map, and what a lot of people will do is they'll play cards that allow them to play her over and over again to get multiple maps in their deck, so they have a better chance of pulling it. And so if you pull the map, then you play the map, and a golden monkey is put into your deck. And if you draw the golden monkey, I know it's a long, drawn-out process, and people usually stall out trying to do it. But it doesn't really interrupt your play style, so you could have a deck that's not built entirely around this. But if you draw the golden monkey and play him, it replaces your entire hand and remaining deck with legendary cards.
Oh, God.
Which is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Whoa.
Which is crazy.
Incredibly overpowered. So
Yeah.
But does it weaken you enough? Is there a low enough chance, and does it weaken you enough trying to go that strategy that it evens out a little bit?
I think it's fair. I know. I mean, I don't play as much as like the pundits online, so I don't know how outrageous it actually is. But I've encountered a few times, and I've actually pulled it off once. And the funny thing is, when I pulled it off, I still ended up losing. So it was brutal
not
too.
infallible.
It's like the person I was playing knew about that strategy. They probably do, but they were playing a priest deck, and they just at that point they played all their cards that steal from my deck. And so they stole legendary cards from me and played them against me, and
Wow.
happened to get the ones that really screwed me.
So there's a
brutal.
counter to it, which is nice.
There's always counters.
Yeah.
Except for Deathwing, right?
He blows up every minion, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I wanted to get that. Exact.
He's a 12/12 that blows up
Yeah,
every
12
minion.
some
that
reason-
blows 'em up.
For some reason, talking about Warcraft and you mentioning a golden monkey just took me back to Stranglethorn Vale and the Gorilla Sinew quest, and it kind of it haunted me a little
They
bit.
all
I
have.
kind of shivered inside.
Yeah, the genocide of the apes.
Well,
in
plus,
Stranglethorn.
plus, there was one time where there were a couple of gold farmers. I knew they were gold farmers because they tried to talk to me in like not English, and they were just like going around the
So
area,
that makes
and they didn't
them
leave.
a gold farmer immediately.
Well, no, because
All
they
right,
were
Joe.
asking me.
I see.
They were asking me for
Profiling.
No,
We know what you mean. They were running in circles and
That's-
farming the same animals.
You're going
They
to
don't
make a
speak
public
And
English.
apology.
then
Yes.
the icing
Yes.
was they spoke Chinese to you.
and wanted me to leave so they could keep gold farming.
Or whatever
Yeah.
language you
They,
meant
they-
that
I think they were
inserted
trying
Chinese
to
for.
chase me away so that they could keep making money. But
We all know where they
understandable.
anyways,
mostly
it
are.
made the difficult quest with the low drop rate take much longer.
Oh, God.
gosh,
I
that
believe
was
it.
Even worse.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was always
brutal
a
enough
bummer.
that we remember it, but can't remember other like things
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
names of places
Yeah.
and
Oh.
stuff like that.
The sad part is you go there now, it's like the first drop. So
Yeah. Easy pickings. Everyone wins. Participation trophy.
they don't make you work for it
It'll
anymore.
never be like
Yeah.
vanilla again.
It never will.
Warcraft.
Maybe one day.
Warcraft
but
Warcraft's
hurting the
weakening our youth.
society.
Right.
By the way, Tavern Brawl, I looked it up, came out in June of this year, so 6 months ago.
I didn't realize it was that recent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised
played-
it's been that much because
I
every
played
week
a
it
lot during the
changes.
summer,
so
so maybe it was there.
that's a lot of interesting ideas. I wanted to add to that. I agree with you. Tavern Brawl is a great. It's almost like a reprieve from the grind of ranked play and or arena if you're
Right.
doing it, just because it is so random. But the best one so far that I've liked the most is the one you talked about. We've talked about recently, where you build your deck as you go. It's a very Dominion style. And I thought that was super cool. Everyone's on the same page. You get random cards. It was very much the mechanic of the League of Explorers in play there. You get 3 cards at the beginning of every round, pick it, insert it into your deck. It was great. Really
It
cool.
was very cool.
Very great idea.
No, I mean, I've said it before, but the fact that Hearthstone is entirely virtual just opens the doors for them to be creative with it and do whatever they want. Whereas like a standard card game is confined to its mechanics and
they're not. They can't just
That was
mail you
something-
free cards.
That was something I very much
That they
felt
introduce.
when I played it. I thought this is actually great because you can break so many boundaries that you can't
Right.
with a physical card game.
Yep.
Right.
Like I've played the online or the computer game versions of
Like Magic.
Magic,
Yeah.
Right.
but it still has to kind of stick to the formula of the physical
Right.
card game.
Exactly.
And then I played Hearthstone, and I was like, oh my, like there's like even just the basic stuff I was doing was like, this is breaking a lot of barriers because you don't have to stick with these physical card things and all those limitations of that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And you don't have to shuffle, and the games go really quickly. 'Cause
Yeah.
not shuffling is awesome. Not to mention there are visuals that are really fun.
You can click on the
animation
anvil and stuff.
things. There are the sounds are great.
Yeah.
Everything makes
They're-
a sound.
Oh, yeah.
Blizzard's so good at kind of making that. I
Yeah.
enjoyed that, like things felt impactful in a card game,
Right.
Like sound wise.
Even the music is classic Warcraft,
Yeah.
and it just is. Sometimes it's. I mean, sometimes I.
And it makes it better
Turn
when
it off,
when
but-
the other person is not playing their turn forever. At least I can spam click all the various accoutrements all over the table and make
Yeah.
all kinds of
Or-
noises
Yeah.
to entertain myself
Right
like a
click
child.
threaten, right click threaten, right click threaten, right click threaten.
The meanest
Squelch.
thing you can do.
No, I honestly, the oops is the one I hate the most.
Or sorry is what gets me. When as
Sorry,
soon as
that
they
happened.
Sarcastic version.
my
Such a
they
dick.
they get the killing blow. My avatar explodes and they're just like sorry.
Yeah, that's
You're
not.
like you.
That's
Don't
just
be
asshole.
don't be a sore winner.
So, in terms of
People.
it's got elements of like a collectible card game, deck building card game kind of thing.
Right.
There is the tabletop version of it though, right? Where you can actually buy packs.
I believe there is.
there was at some point.
I mean, it obviously can't follow the same rules because they
Yeah.
do so much with it. But
Right.
yeah, I think there is I think it might have originated as that, and then they just went into the virtual realm because it didn't do well. But
No, I
I
can see
could be
that.
wrong
I
about
can
that.
see
Oh, I didn't know that.
That makes sense. Probably doing much better this
That
way.
would be, or they just made the computer version. They're like, well, let's see how it does, and then it becomes one of the biggest games ever,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
always with
Yeah.
Blizzard.
Good job, Blizzard.
Honestly, I think part of that might be part of that might be the origination of their kind of launcher thing because it has all their games on the left, and since it's Blizzard, they have very few games that are excellent. So it's got Diablo, StarCraft, Warcraft, and Hearthstone. People are like, "What's Hearthstone?" And then they
Right.
go to that. I mean, that's almost kind of how I found it or realized it existed.
I mean, that's how I found out about Overwatch, I think.
Yeah, they
And
added
Overwatch.
Overwatch.
Yeah.
When I showed up on there.
Has anyone played that yet?
I haven't.
No,
I would love to
I-
get
well,
into
it's-
the beta.
It's still in beta, yeah. I haven't
Yeah.
gotten
It's
it.
not. I thought it was an open beta.
Is it
Is it open now?
I don't
I don't know.
I don't
think
believe
it is. It might be really
Then
soon.
why is it staring at me?
Because
been
they
out
want
there
you
for
to
a while.
pre-order
Yeah,
it.
they want you to
You
buy
can
it.
pre-order it right
Yeah.
now.
It looks really fun, though.
And it
Probably
comes
will.
out in I don't know, a long time,
Yeah.
like next summer or something. I
It's
could be
the
wrong. I'm
first
probably
arena
wrong.
shooter I've seen in a really, really long time that makes me contained arena.
Yeah.
Battlefront's
Yeah.
so big, I don't. That's a different monster.
That's a
to
different
me.
type of game.
Yeah.
But
It reminds me of
Like Monday Night
Dan-
Combat.
Yeah, and Dirty Bomb, which I think you and I are the only ones that have played. But
Right.
it's
it's
even
Counter-Strike
crazier and more
with
exciting.
weird
yeah.
fantasy elements.
Yeah.
which is what those kind of are.
Yeah.
There was a
Dirty Bomb.
mod for Counter Strike that had a bunch of fantasy elements in it. We played for a while. Do you remember that?
Yes.
You could like level up your character and gosh,
Yeah,
that was
it-
crazy.
it
Was
was-
it a mod to Counter Strike? Because I mean, Counter Strike was originally a mod.
yeah,
it was
It was
like because you know they
adjusted-
always did like zombie stuff and they
Yeah.
did
Yep,
they
yeah.
did like weapon level ups and stuff.
Yeah.
like that.
Right. Yeah. It was one of those that felt like
It was that was way long ago though. That was mid 2000s, man.
Yeah, it was kind of like back then it was like, oh, this is awesome, but if you look back, it's so kind of, it has this very jerry-rigged, like patched together kind of feeling.
Oh
but,
yeah, I'm sure.
But it was so great because it's like I'm shooting lightning. I'm like it's Counter Strike. This is amazing because Counter Strike was everything back then.
Did you guys hear the recent issue with Counter Strike? I probably shouldn't bring this up because I don't really know the details, but I know.
Speculate. Just like,
Well,
like Matt.
they changed
Why not?
something about buying. I think it was pistols, and maybe they got rid of the deagle. Like something
Oh,
like that.
They couldn't
And
can't do that.
fans flipped out
as they
about
should.
whatever they did. I don't know if that's the
The
exact
Deagle's
detail,
a
but-
staple, just like the op.
And I know a few people who are very,
Yeah,
very
I hate
involved
the op.
in CS:GO right now, and they were not pleased for days. They
crazy.
couldn't talk about anything
Wow.
else.
Date.
The op
For
just makes me
days.
think of just makes me think of like the Golden Gun.
Turn
and
their world
Bond.
upside
Yeah.
down
That's the standard
for
these
4
days,
days.
though. With Twitter, every
Yeah.
day, every day it's something different. So
Yeah.
days,
Yeah.
that's intense.
Well, one comment was like, the blah, 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 they did all this with CSGO, so I just played Fallout 4. And I was like, yep, that sounds nice.
That's great.
What a terrible situation.
I'm 2 hitting death claws. What's up?
Yeah. Wasn't so bad.
man.
What level are you now that you can 2-hit death claws?
I'm 20 on this.
Wow,
Gee,
you
what-
are. Wow.
I
Yeah.
can see going melee.
That's very powerful
And just to
for
inform
20.
people, Dane has re-rolled a melee character.
Correct.
I can see going melee being kind of nice because you can focus your skills a lot more.
Dude, let me tell you, VATS with melee is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
You can't be interrupted when you're in VATS by another melee hit, so that solves the ghoul problem.
how many can you swing?
Yeah,
before
I didn't
you're
do
out
that
of
originally.
I mean,
It's
I'm going
pain.
heavy agility VATS crit ninja style.
With a hammer.
Well, no, I have a machete, a serrated machete
okay.
that I
God.
use when
That
I'm
sounds
not
brutal.
in combat armor, but when or in power armor. When I wear power armor, it's a upgraded sledgehammer.
Wow.
But yeah, so
So
I get like 4 or
visceral.
5 hits per VATS.
Oh God.
Nice. Do you have
It's
the
nuts.
Do you have the like go over a far distance kind of?
I don't yet.
Oh man,
No,
It's gonna be.
I
I
don't.
can't wait for
I
you
had
to
to
have
stop.
life-changing.
Same. I had to stop doing combat-based perks to do settlement stuff
yeah.
from like 15 to 20. So I've been doing that.
Dealing with your children.
I should show you. I made this screencast of what I did to the truck stop to show someone at work who was interested. I should show you guys that after this.
I mean, they like the gas station.
The truck stop, what I did with it, and how I
Red
made
Rocket?
it my own.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
gas station.
Red
Wink,
Rocket.
wink.
Well, I guess
Red
it's a
Rocket.
truck stop. You
I
could
didn't.
say that.
I didn't like think about that for the longest time playing Fallout 4, and then I was like, oh come on.
Did you guys
That's where you
see?
find dog meat.
Did you guys see the picture?
That is.
Yeah.
I
You're
really don't
right.
think that's what
I didn't even
they're
put
going
that
for.
together.
Isn't that a real thing? Isn't that a real?
Red
Red Robin is a restaurant.
Yeah, but wasn't Red Rocket a thing in the 50s in America? Like it was a gas station.
I don't know. It's a good question, but it is where you find dog meat.
Oh
and I
man,
don't-
that's
I
been my
don't-
assumption.
Let's go down.
I
that.
don't
We don't.
think
Let's
that
not go down that
that's-
path.
Okay.
They had to know that when they did that.
Yeah. Come
if
on.
it did exist, it probably went out of business during the Cold War.
That's a good point. That's
Yeah,
a
that is a
good
good
point.
Have you guys seen the picture
Cold War humor.
of the guy in Fallout? Well, guy or girl, I don't know who did it, but they made an AT-AT in
Wow.
one of their communities, or what are they called?
That's amazing.
With
It's been so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been like 3 weeks since I played
Settlements.
that game. Oh
Yeah,
my
that's
God,
insane.
Settlements. There it was. Yeah, it looked really cool. It looked. I mean, not spot on, obviously, but you could tell what it was.
Just with
All
like
the metal in the
custom
game.
building walls and stuff.
Right,
and-
yeah.
Cool.
They made it look pretty good.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Did they put turrets on the front of it? Because that would be amazing.
They did. Oh no, they didn't put turrets, but they had like the things jutting out.
Nice.
So.
The tusks.
The tusk.
The
AT-AT tusks.
Mm-hmm. Chickens with tusks.
Oh man. So you mentioned Dominion, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about kind of deck building,
Some card
custom
games.
lineable card games. Yeah, he mentioned it. I heard it. I caught it.
I did.
Which I think is interesting because of deck building games in the games that are actually featured deck building, that was so big.
Dominion was
I
huge.
mean,
when did
that
Dominion
started
come out?
It was 2008, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
I'm
think
going to tie this back in because I was looking at Board Game Geeks and looking at Dominion and games that have card building element to them. And a couple years or year or two before that, the biggest one that was on there that had card deck building elements in it was StarCraft, the board game.
StarCraft, the board game.
There is a StarCraft
I
board
didn't.
game.
How did we not know
Apparently
about
We need
this?
to get our hands on
There's
that.
only a handful of games before Dominion that have.
How much is that on Amazon?
I don't know, but I want to play it.
Listeners,
Do you have
review
one-
of StarCraft the board game.
Do you have one click
incoming.
buying, Jarv? Because
Future podcast.
that's bad news.
Yes.
Well, I have a question. So on the list
I
was
have Prime, and I'll just one day ship it anyways.
on the list that you looked at was Magic on it.
No.
So it didn't consider it.
It did not consider
The same style as
I think
Dominion,
it
which it
considers that customizable card game.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So that's not even the.
There were really only a handful of, and most of my had never heard of, and had really low
That's
number
nuts.
of owners and popularity before Dominion.
Yeah.
And Dominion was huge, and then after that, it was like 100 pages, 120 or 130 pages of board games that had customizable deck building.
That's crazy, man.
Rather,
Yeah,
elements
Dominion
in them.
was really
Dominion
good.
created such a surge or resurgence of that kind of in-game deck building card game.
Sounds
Well,
like a total surge based
it
on
was-
that.
Yeah, it was definitely the biggest one. It kind of took off
felt
after
it.
that. Which
That's
after
great.
that, I think there were only a few notable ones. There were several notable ones, obviously, but Ascension was one.
Yep, Ascension is cool.
There was Resident Evil.
Haven't played that.
It was called Resident Evil, the deck building game.
Wow.
There were some Star
They got
Trek ones.
creative.
They had some Star Trek ones.
got
yeah.
creative with them.
There were some pretty
I love that Jarv's over there possibly buying
possibly
this.
by Star Trek
I know.
board game.
It could be really expensive.
It's out of print, I assume, because I can't find one for under $180.
Oh man,
But
Yeah,
it
that sounds right.
looks
Yeah, it was like
awesome.
2006, 2007.
So
it's almost-
I may.
Christmas time.
Yeah.
call yourself a collector and
Yeah.
and justify it.
It's okay. I'm a collector.
I don't need to justify anything. to myself. it's
Just gotta press the buttons.
it's 180 plastic figures.
Wow.
Wow.
And
Whoa!
How is
From
that
the
deck
brief reviews I've read, they kind of try to reproduce the feel of StarCraft in a board game.
Yeah.
So I assume it's like
That's-
resource management
that's great.
and Zerg rushes.
That would be
Zergling
fun.
rushes.
Does it
Zerglings.
look? Is it kind of? What am I thinking of? Yeah, I can't remember. It's so it's basically just board game, like one field of battle, and you have items and.
I have no idea.
You don't know. Well, you were. over
It's
there
a board
looking at
game
things.
with
I read
deck
like
building elements.
parts of 3 reviews.
I hope the game is.
That's-
I don't
that's
hope
the most
this,
information I
but I
have.
would laugh
But I
if
wanna
the
play
game
it.
was just you open the box and there's a ton of sweet figures from StarCraft, and then it's
And
like,
there's a laptop with
boot up your
StarCraft
computer.
downloaded
Yeah,
on it.
exactly. Here's a notebook. Boot it up.
Yeah.
Play StarCraft online. Servers down. StarCraft runs out of service.
And it's like a 1997 laptop.
You must have a dial-up modem to play.
Running
this.
Windows 95.
It's
on
actually
this bad boy.
$180 because there's a shitty laptop in it.
Oh, man. It's probably a gateway or something.
That'd be
Oh,
that's
man.
so rude. I don't know how something like that could happen and we didn't know about it.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
I guess we-
Fantasy
well,
I
Flight
thought it
games
felt-
too. It was like
Wow,
that's legit.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And it ties
Well-
back in well with the whole idea of Hearthstone being, they do have a version that is tabletop. And
True.
it is a tabletop digital game.
But
Not
that,
their first.
the StarCraft
tabletop.
game is associated with StarCraft 1, not 2, right?
It was
so it would have
yeah,
been
it was
years.
StarCraft. Yeah,
and
it was
years
before,
ago.
way
Probably
before StarCraft
before
2.
we
It was 2006, 2007.
rekindled
Or,
tabletop interest, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
yeah, well, it was
It was
just
certainly
didn't
before
seek
we
out.
had money.
Before the internet.
definitely.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Or before we
that's definitely
lived in the same area again. So,
Well, that
makes
will be
sense.
remedied at some point.
so I'm going to take a
What,
wild.
living in the same area?
Company expense.
We have a vote on that. I think we know where that's going. Research.
That's a
It's
research.
in the research category.
Tax
R&D.
So, total tangent. I read an article today since the Star Wars movie is coming out this week.
Is it?
Yeah.
I haven't heard. I didn't know that.
Please
I
explain
didn't know
Star
that
Wars to
Disney
me.
was advertising
didn't know you had
on
a-
parking signs in various areas around the world.
Or that you already have the midnight showing, the first showing ticket.
I refuse
We are
to do
at
it. I can't do it. I don't.
8 hours.
I don't
29
expect
hours.
the crowds to be fun there.
Yeah.
Not that they're bad people, but they talk in the movie, so I guess they are bad
that's
people.
Yeah,
true.
there's going to be cheers
I am
and jeers.
totally on your side.
Yeah, that's the rough
I
part
don't
about
want
going
to
to
deal
the
with
first
just the
opening
large
show.
crowd in general. I don't.
And
I
Which
kinda-
is going to suck because I really want to see the movie, and if I
Yeah.
could get like a private showing for not private showing money,
man.
I would do it.
More and more,
me in the movie.
just to continue this tangent just a little bit. More and more, I just like I need my movie experience to be like to my liking, like the context of me watching the movie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm very
without
much,
distractions, you can get.
yeah, I'm
totally
very much
engrossed, yeah.
agreed with you. I'd rather see it on my own terms than with a bunch of crazies.
Yeah.
I think I'm definitely differently
You are.
different.
I-
I'm
I've
approaching
gone to,
this
like,
differently.
I've gone to, like,
differently inclined.
I've gone to like one midnight showing or something like that.
I think that this reboot of Star Wars, I guess, is exciting enough for the rest of life for us that I want to be in the middle of it for the first night, I guess.
I can
I can see that.
Despite the
Be
crap,
around
there's
just
going to
the
be a lot
general
of things that,
excitement and
yeah.
Well,
But there's going to be a ton of stuff that pisses me off. I don't know how I'm going to stay awake because I don't really do the midnight to 3 thing. I'm sure it's going to be exciting enough that I'm awake, but like I'm a little. I like going to bed at like 10:30 now, and that's not fitting the mold there.
Responsibility.
But there are a lot of
It
things
reminds me,
that are
though-
going to make it. But it's going to be the second showing, regardless of how or when you see it. That's going to be more important,
Right.
Right?
That's
Because I mean, the first time is going to be just insane, overwhelming sensory experience,
Right.
and then you'll pick it apart
bit of a
the
blur,
next time.
and then
It'll
trying
be
to
a
stay
big fun
conscious
event,
'cause your
but I'm
blood
going to watch
goes
it.
elsewhere.
Exactly.
Well, part of it is a bit nostalgic too. Not because Phantom Menace was great, but because there were fun times when all those movies came out. The episodes 1 through 3. Waiting in line for Phantom Menace when it first came
Hoping
out,
it
being
was
really
good.
excited because there was a
Right.
new Star Wars movie.
Episode 1 through 3. You should listen to that, Valve, and do something about it.
3 parts.
Other people can make
3.
Blindside.
a
This
seventh.
This is how
episode.
trilogies
Make the
work.
Third one.
There's 1, there's 2, and then there's 3.
No, there's 2, and then
No, there's
episode
2 and 3 parts.
1, and then
There's
episode 2,
2.
and then they just stop because they don't have another
Yeah,
subset.
They
after
just keep
episode.
stopping at 2.
Yeah.
Wow. Speaking of the original, the not original, the prequel,
prequel
original
trilogy,
releases.
yeah.
Too many adjectives in there, confusing. But the prequel releases in the what was that, late 90s, early 2000s, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
I was
The last one was 10 years ago.
okay.
Wow.
And the
that's
Phantom Menace was
crazy.
what, 99?
I think it was 99. So I was watching, or I was a couple weeks ago. This is pre-spoiler week. That is this week, so I'm avoiding all articles. But they had some links to videos of people getting jazzed up for Phantom Menace, and I found it really hilarious how
Oh man.
people were saying the exact same things in line for Phantom Menace that they're saying right now
yeah.
of why it can't go wrong.
Yeah.
And it was kind of interesting to see, like,
And it was the same thing. I mean,
And that
we went-
time, nobody
I went-
knew what Jar Jar Binks was.
right.
I
Well,
went-
he's the new villain in the new one, right?
Yeah. Did you read that?
Kylo Binks.
That Reddit post?
Dude, that
was a long
that was
Reddit
very
post.
articulate.
It was a well
I
written.
thought it was really well written.
Yeah.
I've heard. Yeah, I've heard
Yeah.
that.
It's a pretty.
speculation.
If it happens, I won't even be mad after that.
It's
article.
like it has a really good argument and then just makes a little bit of leap. So it's really solid, but there's
Interesting.
some missing points.
if you
in it. But
accept
it's a
the
good-
premise,
yeah,
it's
the
convincing.
definition of
Oh yeah,
faith.
and it's
That's
very
the-
entertaining
that's
no matter what.
Right.
It's well written.
Well, I think were you about to say when you saw Phantom Menace you enjoyed it and it wasn't a big
No,
deal? Because
no,
that's
no.
what I've been saying to people, which is like when I
did.
saw Phantom Menace, I
it
had
was
very
fun.
few
Yeah.
critiques. It was like sweet Star Wars.
But
is
we
back
were
on
also
the
at
map.
an age, I think.
Yeah, we were
when,
15. It was exciting.
When
Yeah.
I
when
was, at
we
least.
weren't didn't know so much about we couldn't think we didn't think as deeply about the world of Star Wars and maybe some of the more philosophical things and what midichlorians does to that lore.
See, that never bothered me even now. Like,
Yeah.
That's fine with me.
Yeah, I don't get into the finer details like that either.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
No,
Yeah.
Because it was more
Right.
Star Wars, but
yeah.
yeah.
The reason I brought it up though was just it's going to be a similar feeling waiting in a line where half the people are dressed up like Star Wars characters and it's really
Yeah,
exciting and
it's gonna
everyone's
be fun.
pumped up and it's kind of like a big event.
Yeah,
So-
I don't mean
Right.
to diminish
Yeah.
you
That
guys.
it's going to be like that again, and hopefully this time, you come away with a movie that holds up better in the Star Wars universe.
There's
than
no
The
way
Phantom
it
Menace
could
did.
be. I mean, here,
Well,
J.J.
that's the whole-
Abrams,
you
Is
know,
there
blah, blah, blah,
J.J.
George Lucas
lens
is-
flares? Lens flares.
That reminds
all
me.
the same thing.
all you need.
I saw a
he said he
picture
held
today.
off on the lens flares.
I saw a picture today of J.J. Abrams with like his arm around George Lucas, and they were up on a stage, and George Lucas was giving J.J. Abrams like bunny ears for the photo.
Yeah,
it was
it's
pretty-
passive aggressive.
It looked good.
Yeah.
You will
they were
get me a
happy
Coke
together.
Zero.
You will get me a Coke Zero.
We don't have Coke
I'm
Zero.
disappointed in your lack of Coke Zero.
JJ, go give me a Coke Zero. I'm not
But-
George Lucas. You're looking for?
So 5 or 10 minutes ago, I mentioned that there was an article I read.
5 to 10 minutes ago. That's passive aggressive.
Yeah, well, no, it was good. It was all a really good conversation that I was going to kind of try to kick off with the article, but it took off before I got done with it. The GameSpot article, anyways, it was a non-spoiler article from a guy that had already seen the movie, like in the press release or whatever, the early viewing for what have you. And it was non-spoiler, so it didn't have a lot of specifics, but he said it lived up to every expectation that he had from his long history
I've been
of
hearing.
whatever. So I've heard
that's
good
been
things.
consistent.
Rotten Tomatoes, it's like 97%,
Jeez.
which is higher than any of the other Star Wars.
Wow. Yeah, he put it up pretty high. So this
We'll
is
see.
one where you get in line and have a big event with a bunch of people dressed up, and hopefully you come away and this is like an incredible Star Wars movie.
Yeah,
hope so.
there was a release where this was a month ago where Harrison Ford apparently got to view it, and he said it has great production values, which I think everybody was like, "Ooh, that's not." But I think it's more like Harrison Ford doesn't really toss out compliment. Like he's not very complimentary towards anything. Really.
He's also a really weird guy.
Yeah.
Like
Is he?
if you watch interviews with him, he's just kind of odd. He's a little off and awkward.
Well,
and-
so many performers are in the top echelons
because they're just focused on the craft. That's all they're
Could be because he's old as shit.
That could be it too. No, I'm just saying.
hopefully-
I've seen interviews and he's fun, but he's a little like weird and
Yeah.
like,
Sure.
What was the
That makes
conversation
sense.
we had recently? Speaking of older shit, was why don't Wookiees go gray?
That's a good point.
Did we have that conversation?
I've
I
seen
think we
some.
did.
I don't.
I had it with
recall that.
somebody. I thought it was you.
I don't think that was me.
I've seen
Somebody talked to me
an
about
old.
that.
I've seen some
There were some
representation of
gray
an
ones.
Older Wookiees that were
Wookiee
gray,
being
yeah.
Weren't there
gray.
ones in Attack of the Clones
Yeah,
when they
that's
was
true.
on Kashyyyk?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But Chewbacca's not.
Why
So
was there
how
a
do
whole
they age,
settlement
actually? I
of
don't know how old.
stunted Wookiees on Endor is still my question. I was so confused as a child. Like, is Chewbacca the
Well,
odd man out, or is this a
No,
settlement
it
of
was-
odd
it
men,
was the
men
hoods.
out? I don't.
Is
Really,
he like
The
a
hoods
mutant?
that they wore were too heavy and they couldn't grow
it
properly.
kept them down?
The gravity on Endor,
Yeah.
with the hoods.
The weighted hoods.
Oh man! But I think
Stunted
Wookiees
the
live for a
spine
really
growth.
long time.
That would make sense
that
to why
is
he wouldn't
one.
go gray. Okay.
Probably why.
Now I am satisfied.
So
Maybe it's a gene thing.
Was that what the
Chewbacca just
article
has
was about?
exquisite genes,
Exquisite
the good old
genes.
Chewbacca genes.
Or maybe it's just Wookiee for men. Just for
Wookiee for men. Wookiee club for
just
men.
for Wookiee.
because he's born with it.
Maybe it's Maybelline. I don't know.
Maybelline.
He wears cosmetics. And
Maybe he's
dyes.
born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline.
there is that-
Chewbacca.
He's very vain.
There is a meme of Chewbacca and some shampoo. where
Yeah,
it's like-
where it's the beautiful, it's like L'Oreal.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I'm worth it.
I remember
think is
that.
what it says.
Because I'm worth it. Oh man.
Anyways,
He does
I
have
love
great
Chewbacca.
locks. Yeah.
it's going to be very exciting, and
He's
obviously we're
well-groomed.
going to have to talk.
I'm
about
a little
it
nervous
bit
about
on a
Chewbacca.
future podcast.
Yeah, I don't want to think about that.
You going to throw a moon at him?
It's the only way to kill him.
That's how it's been done
The
before.
EU has proven.
On my Christmas list is
I don't
the
even-
shirt where it's Chewbacca and it just says original wingman.
Oh, that's great. That's a great shirt. Nice.
To answer what I think you were going with, the now Legends books, the original extended universe books.
Oh, okay.
He died. Chewbacca died because
killed
they
him.
threw a moon at him.
That'll do it.
A moon fell on him. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that'll
the
do it.
only way to do it. He's got a bowcaster that's
Yeah.
super powerful.
Yeah,
Shoots
he
down
almost
everything
defeated
except
the
for the
moon.
moon.
I love how
Shooting at the
Very
moon
matter of
flying at
factly.
you.
I love
It'll
how
work.
unconsciously lauded the bowcaster is just because Chewbacca uses one. Like
Yeah.
in Battlefront, it's like the last it's the last weapon you can, or it's like the last bonus thing you can get or buy.
I tried to use it in the beta, and I was
it's
just
useless.
Whiff.
It's not total. It's not useless, but it's just like
it's powerful and fires really slowly, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's kind of explosive, and you can shoot like 5 of them if you charge it up. So if your enemies are in a line, which isn't
up, guys.
going to happen,
I got a bowcaster.
You're good. But
yeah, it's not Battlefront, the Civil War.
Well, if
edition.
a bunch of them run out the door and you're ready, it could work.
I wonder in the world of
how
laser
stupid were they?
of laser rifles, adding a crossbow like module, how would that at all add anything
not at all.
to a rifle? That was my
Not
question.
at all is the answer to that
What's
question.
the difference here?
Yeah,
Technologically, it's how it charges up and spreads. You know, they got the
Is that
bowcasters
what
that
it is?
comes around. I just made that up.
He's
Yeah, sounds
bullshitting.
great.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
He's
sure that's
bullshitting
fine.
hard.
No, that's.
Hey,
I mean,
if
like
somebody said that, I'd be fine with it. Otherwise, all I see is a rifle
That's when
with
you
like
take-
more shit on it.
Yeah.
So really, it's
let's
just heavier.
let's weigh this down and make it cumbersome.
Exactly. Only a
So-
Wookiee can
so you
carry
can't-
this.
So you can't round corners
Travesty of a rifle. Look what I found, Han. Shut up, Chewie.
But that's how basically everybody
Fire
took
up the
original Star Wars
hyperdrive.
and created the extended universes. They took all these branches and explained everything just a little bit and made it make sense.
I do.
Right.
I have so much love
Spread
for
out.
the extended universe, even though I haven't read many of the books, like the games and all the lore that goes with them. Oh my god!
Well, and that's how
That's
they
a cool
twisted the fact that the fighting style with lightsabers in the original trilogy is much different than what they did later, and they were supposed to be like a heavy broadsword
Right.
type, and then they changed it to like dual wielding and crazy and
Which works out now
double-sided
just because
lightsaber.
they were really old.
Yeah, yeah. Alec. What's his name? Alec Guinness.
That's how I like to think of it.
they were just old. They couldn't do it anymore. They couldn't hack it.
You're an agent of evil, Darth. Just like lunges at Darth's like, Our robotics are failing. The Emperor won't upgrade it because he's making space stations.
Over and over
Wow.
again.
Wow. Yeah. Could I get some spare parts here? No, we need a second.
I need a better arm. We're gonna make another one.
Oh god.
That was good. So, with that, are we ready for the Arquadded?
yeah.
The random question of the day.
Random question
it.
of the day is Dan.
It's on
Ready?
me. All right. This one's pretty deep. Maybe. Who knows?
Depends on how you take it.
Yeah. All right. I
We've lost Jarv to that one.
all right.
Wow.
I'm okay.
He's all
No,
right.
we're good.
Recovery.
Composure. Professional.
Good throat clear.
Thank you. Now, my intention for this is a little deeper than just the words of the question. But do you feel that romantic? Hey,
Sorry, subtext is
important.
what I said.
this is my shining moment.
Intertextuality.
He's going to have an answer to this one.
I'll answer it first, just to give you guys the kind of depth I'm going for here.
Oh,
Set an
modeling.
example.
Oh, do you guys? It's so fitting.
Ask the damn question.
It's so fitting for
We'll
this.
let you
too.
get it out now.
Do you feel that romantic relationships in RPGs are a positive or negative? Why? All right, and I will answer it to give you guys an idea of what I'm thinking here. So, I'm thinking things like Mass Effect, Dragon Age, the kind of the BioWare or whatnot, and other games as well. Romantic relationships, to me, are kind of fun for the story, but to me, it's such an awkward thing because it happens so fast in the progression of your relationship with that character that it's just like bam, bam, bam. Oh, we love each other, and it just seems
I
very
picked the right dialogue choices.
Yeah, I picked the right dialogue choices, and this is how this works.
Yeah.
And
Took her on some quests.
yeah, I took her on some quests, gave her some gifts, whatever. Well, that's maybe, but so
that is real life.
yeah, that's really.
Let's go do this bowling quest. You like me a little more, don't you?
Yeah.
I found this ring gift.
I've progressed on this bar in our romantic relationship. But yeah, so they feel, I mean, it's hard to, I know it would be hard to create something that felt more organic, but it feels a little kind of stiff and giggity and and awkward and quick. So basically, does that take What?
Can't help it.
Feels a little stiff and awkward and quick.
I didn't even notice.
Can't
Quick.
sit.
Everything is sex.
When you go down this route,
Take your mind anywhere here.
I think it's
But so basically, because of that, I guess my question is like, do you feel that takes away from story or the feeling of the game or anything like that? To me, it does to a degree, but I still like it to be in there because I can kind of RP it in my own mind beyond the the actual just text of the the conversations.
Yeah, which is,
stuff
I
like
mean,
that.
how every conversation in the game is, right? I mean,
That's a good point.
there aren't infinite choices, so you have to kind of go along with the best one that makes the most sense for your character. But
Yeah.
I think it's I can argue both ways.
Yeah.
And I can't make a decision because it is in a way a little bit of a distraction from like this game is about doing this stuff and, exploring the story and defeating everything, but it does add that kind of, personal getting into your character and the growth and your companionship with other people kind of RP sense that a lot of people do like, even if, and it is purely optional, really. You don't really have to pursue it in any gameplay. So for the people that aren't interested, it's something that they don't have to do. So I don't see...
Right.
Even for people who don't like it, I mean, you just move on. You don't do it. You don't care.
Right.
So it's not a huge downside if you're not into that. Although, yeah, it can be pretty stiff and awkward and slow, but
Stiff and
or
awkward
fast or whatever.
I think it depends on the game for me.
That's
If they
a
do
good
it-
point. If
they
it's like
do
the main
it
story
well-
of the game.
And the characters and the character that you're
Well,
playing.
even if it's more, did they do it well or
Right,
not, right?
right.
Because Mass Effect, I think, is my biggest example of when I really enjoyed it because it added a lot of depth to the game, and it was not a quick process. It was very slow. In fact, at least the route I took, which was the tally round, the beautiful tally round.
Yeah, I don't
Even
even
though
know
I didn't
that.
know I didn't know what she was.
Just to add on,
She's in
just to add on to that, the most
nice
organic,
Beautiful suit.
the most organic feeling of like relationship and flirting and whatever was Tally in Mass Effect 1.
Yes.
For me.
Yeah.
Because you don't in Mass Effect 1 you don't have a relationship, and I'll remind everybody I've played Mass Effect 1 and half of probably not even half of Mass Effect 2 because I'm a failure
man.
in
Bonkers.
life. But it was with Tally because you never had a relationship,
Right.
But there just felt like there was a little bit of flirting,
And there was
in some
And
of the
they put that
conversation
in.
you had.
Well, that's why I liked it because it took
Exactly.
me
That
3
felt-
installments of a game
Yes.
to
You had
actually
to work at it.
win Tally's affection.
Get into those pants.
which was great.
Yeah.
That's how
which may or may not kill
that's
her.
consistent with the type of women I like in real life. You
Yeah.
know, I'm not like, don't
fast
just
and loose?
jump in bed. Like Ashley, you can sleep with Ashley at the end of the first game, right?
I think so, but you can also kill her in the end of the first game. Well,
And-
make choices that have her die. In
Right, you can. And
I
you
had
sleep
to
with
die.
a dude.
You can totally
Oh, she
mind
was
meld with what's her face as well, and then I think have actual
the
sex.
Asari.
Yeah,
Leanna.
that's
Or
the route
what's
I
her name?
went,
No.
and I was much younger and stupider then. I was like, I was more of a like Kirk and
Weird aliens.
Star Trek,
Kirk.
like let's just bang some aliens.
You're
Her
blue.
skin-
I've never had a blue. Let's
her
try
skin's
this.
blue. This is exotic. You don't.
Yeah.
You have weird hair that is.
Now let's
tenderly-
find some green people.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Yeah.
But to get to the depth of it,
Oh, the buggy guys.
to add more depth though to my response, I think it does really enhance story, especially in a well-crafted RPG, because that is something. I mean, so Fallout has romantic options, right?
Right,
Fallout
yeah.
4. And one thing that Piper is my companion with my current
Mm-hmm.
playthrough. I gave her a sweet machete, and we're just ninjas, and we run around, and she's in all black leather. It's great.
That's dark.
It is crazy weird.
She's in all black
But like
leather.
she's
It's great.
Dark slash
at
awesome.
first, I was like, I don't know about Piper because she can be a little grating. But then she grew on me a lot. But then I started thinking then I started thinking in a role play sense. I know it's been 200 years since I was put in the thing, but in terms of my memory, I just saw my wife die like a month ago, and I'm already
Spoiler.
feeling
Yeah.
It's at the
Piper's
beginning.
affections. Like that's not. I would think that's not appropriate. I
Yeah,
need a grieving
that's
period.
something that I've
So,
thought too.
It's been interesting because you're not really given the opportunity to slowly move in that. She just like prompts you when you gain enough companion affection.
Exactly.
So
That's-
like I'm having trouble
That's where
resolving
That's
it.
kind of where it came from. Because
So-
I mean, I got prompted with the Preston, and I was like, "Whoa!" Like this
Real
is,
fast, dude. We just met.
Like
First of all, we
really
just
fast.
met.
It's like
That's not even the first
It's
big
like
reason.
okay, I did a lot of stuff for this for the Minutemen, and now like romance is an option.
Yeah.
Like It's like,
and I don't know if they have a choice. I mean, it's the post-apocalypse. I think you should
good
fall in love
point.
quickly because you're
You
going to
help
die.
people they
probably.
want to bang.
that's a
It's
really
how it
good
works.
point. Just you need to outnumber all those freaks out there.
Like you need to find people that you sync with, get it on, reproduce, keep the species going, type of deal.
Right.
I don't know, but I'm enjoying it just because it adds to the story and adds more depth to my character, despite the quickness. So I think overall, I like the option of forging not just
I like it being
romance,
there.
but any relationship because it's more realistic and gets me more into the role play sense. Right.
Yeah.
So I like it.
I kind of wish, you know
I
how
mean, it's if it's trying to be a real story, that's a real story element of how
That's like
the
you
character's life
fall
would
in
go.
love with people and
Yeah.
have to deal.
I even though it would be a development difficulty, I'd like it to be more present in the game outside of that, relationships to be present. Like, I'm thinking Dragon Age and kind of Dragon Age 1, like there were just conversations and stuff like that. And, other characters would say things during the game, like not even like opening up a conversation thing. And it feels like, if you were having a loving relationship with this person, they would say things like, or like maybe yell out when you were like seriously injured or something, like a lot of emotion about that or anything like that.
Snake.
But it just feels like sometimes it feels like the
Snake?
relationship just exists in that conversation
Yeah,
window,
yeah.
and then outside of that, you're done.
See, from my standpoint, I don't like it, and I love RPGs. So for me, I don't like that trend. And it's
lone
not
wolf.
that I'm against having romance in video games, because when it's scripted and when it's not like a free dialogue choice, I think that it can be done more tastefully. But it just doesn't fit very well whenever they do it, and Bioware does it the best, and I can get along with that. But I just don't think it needs to be there unless it's scripted.
Yeah.
Shadow in that case, for me, Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah.
Because she's like dead the whole time, and the purpose is to like try to resurrect her by killing all these colossi. But there's like no words in the game. You just understand what's going on. Kind of is really cool.
Yeah, it needs to be. I mean, something like love needs to be powerful, and you can't do powerful with the kind of dialogue options that you get with a game that has so many different dialogue options. And like you said, it just comes up randomly and inappropriate times, or just doesn't make any sense because it's like I've shown no interest in you whatsoever in that way, and now you're asking if we want to make out. Like, what's going on?
Does it really detract from your gameplay because you can just ignore it as an optional thing and you can just kind of
I can
brush
ignore
it
it, and I do
Yeah.
ignore it, but I don't think, from my standpoint, I don't think it adds anything to the game. So I'd
Does
rather
it
didn't
subtract
exist.
because you have to? Does it take you out of the game just because it's annoying for you?
No, and I guess in some ways there's like it's funny in a way, like Anders in Dragon Age 2. It's like he's so thick with it, and you're just like,
You don't even have a choice.
at
You're
a
dealing with
certain
that
point,
every
it's just
combo.
funny, and obviously I'm not. There's no dialogue options. Like, well, there are some to make fun of him, which I might have chosen.
You can't not get like
But-
negative with him though, which bothered me.
Yeah. But like I'll say,
So I was all about the mechanics and the
disdain
numbers.
him.
Yeah.
I'll say things in my
Exploring.
head and like at the screen or whatever, just joking. Probably just because I've played that game so many times.
Yeah.
And I don't mean make fun of him because he's gay. Just make fun of him because he's ridiculous.
Right.
He's very thick.
The whole
like
thing
you
is
said.
ridiculous. I actually, I enjoy that BioWare throws in that equal treatment to homosexual relationships. And as somebody, like, unless I'm role playing a homosexual character, which I've never done before because I'm, it's different from my life. That wasn't really a thing, but he is set up in like, he's like tending to lepers in the basement of the grossest city ever.
Yeah.
Like, Anders, this is not okay. Right? Like, at least take me to a nice bar upstairs.
That is
Like,
true.
what are you doing
Like, that's
right
where
now?
he-
Like,
yeah.
there's leper right
He's got
there.
no
We're not
game.
doing anything.
This is not a romantic situation.
Even if I was interested, this setting turns me off to you forever.
Yeah,
Freaking
I
Anders.
actually
guy's ears on the ground.
I have a gay friend, and he actually in Mass Effect rolled a female character because he wanted the romantic relationship with Garrus. So and he absolutely loved it.
That's cool.
Like
Garrus is a good choice.
yeah.
He's a boss.
He thought it was great because he loved how he thought it was cute how like Garrus was really awkward and like didn't know how to like.
How do you deal with Garrus in the second one?
I have no idea.
Oh my gosh. He got his face blown off.
Did he?
You got that far.
No.
Dude, that was like
Spoilers.
5% in.
I must not be that.
That's
far
like
in.
the first quest. It's like the first companion quest.
Not unless he just forgot.
All right. Well, I bet you forgot. It's not a thing.
Oh, I didn't go. Yeah. Maybe I didn't get him.
Get Garrus in the second.
Oh
one?
yeah.
Okay, then you know this because it happens before you get him, and you just like he's destroyed
When he's
when you find him and he's Archangel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
His face is blown up.
I must have forgotten that.
This went on way too long.
Yeah.
I just want to know how I felt about it
face.
because
I want to take his face.
I guess the reason I said that is because
Everybody got an
watched,
insight into conversation of Dan not remembering anything.
Oh, sorry. Well, I just got into, or I just watched
10
an
years
episode of Family Guy where
It was like,
Peter gets injured and Lois is like, "Oh my gosh, I thought it was your spine. If you were a cripple, I don't think I can handle that."
Oh man,
It's brutal, right? But
that's tough.
But so
yeah, okay,
destroy
yeah.
the face of Garrus.
I don't remember. I
Put your
guess.
helmet back on, Garrus. Okay.
Yeah.
You're beautiful again.
So he
I don't do that with Tally. She wears armor all the time. It's fine.
has he already had his face blown off? Like it wasn't a part of the
Yeah, it was like part of his Archangel.
his
business.
past experience.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It was the interim.
There you go. You got it.
His face is so weird anyway.
Play Mass Effect.
And that does it for episode 11. His mask is on. Check us out at roughneckgames.com. We've got more content. Thank you, and listen to episode 12 next week.
Remember Twitter, Google Plus.
Yeah, all our social links.
yeah, all that
The,
jazz.
the Tweeter book
YouTube.
plus.
Click some shit.
Never forget.
Never forget.
Click on what if it's on the screen. Click it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Click all the buttons on the website. Thanks.
But not the ads. See ya.
Bye.